And now we're on the YouTube channel. Hello, welcome to James Lott Jr. is the farmer, and Jack Farmer is what? The DJ. Yes, he is. Yes, I is. I'm James Lott Jr., and there's Jack Farmer. Hello, Jack Farmer.
Hey, how you doing? I wanted to make sure I just went and I did my due diligence. I did my work and I clicked the thumbs up on the video on YouTube. I think everyone else should do the same. It's kind of a fun experience. Give it a try and tell me what you think.
Yes, please. That thumbs up may change your life. I mean, you have no idea. It may bring you something you've never thought you would have in your life before. So
right. It's a
yeah.
That's
I didn't expect that. That made me laugh. I didn't expect that. But yes, hit it anyway because this JLJ Media. Hit it because I think it does unlock stuff. I don't know what it unlocks. It unlocks something. I move up a level or something. I get a lot of likes and not downloads from YouTube. What do you call them? Subscriptions.
yes.
The more both of those, I get more stuff.
Yeah,
I want more stuff.
Yeah, sharing, all that other stuff. The world is based on how many likes, comments, and subscribes you get. So gimme.
Gimme a man. Oh, wrong music. Today,
people are tuning in to hear about rap, and we got gimme.
Give me a man after midnight. Don't somebody help you? Yeah. That's wrong stuff. It's ABBA. And I'm dressed like I'm a polo, my polo shirt on. I mean, we're not dressed for rap at all.
Yeah, I'm dressed like I'm about to go teach tennis in a little bit, but
to rappers.
To rappers, yeah. You never know.
You're a celebrity tennis trainer. There you go.
I like that you had celebrity. I appreciate that. Instead of a discount tennis trainer, teaching tennis for exposure at the YMCA.
Low rent tennis trainer who's at LA High trying to teach to wayward actors who are nobody anymore. I gave you a nicer title.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay. Everybody, thank you for listening and watching our shows. People are watching them and some of your comments, so thank you so much for doing that. Today's one is rap, but I titled it Rap Part 231 because clearly rap is a huge subject that we will not get to all of it in under 50 minutes. That's not going to happen. So I have some stuff I want to talk about within rap. As usual, I have the definition in the Webster Merriam Dictionary.
Uh-oh.
You ready, Jack Farmer?
I am.
Rap music, also sometimes known as hip-hop music, is a popular style of music. Excuse me, it's not. It's a style of popular music. It's that daylight savings time, people. Throw me off.
I like that you can use that as an excuse for anything right now. It's great.
And it's the truth, Jack Farmer. I don't like what you're implying. I am ruled by the moon, the stars, and the sun. Anyway, it's a style of popular music believed to have its beginnings. It's true in the African American inner city community. Hello, it is. Rap musicians generally perform in a vocal style, which is the lyrics are spoken rather than sung. Also, rap, for you guys who didn't know this, stands for rhythm and poetry.
Really? I didn't actually know that.
But you know, yeah, rhythm and poetry. It is.
So why isn't R&B rap?
That's a good question. This is not called R&P.
Yeah, we should call R&P.
R&P. We're starting it now. I listen to hip hop and R&P. They're gonna laugh us out of any building.
Yeah.
No, I retract that statement. Abort. Now I have to tell you guys, many of you guys, when I told you I was going to do this, was like, well, James, are you a rapper? I don't consider myself a rapper. That's a fine line. My music is spoken word set to music, which by definition in the Webster Merriam, Merriam dictionary, I'm a rapper.
You know, if there's one person that knows rap, it's Webster Merriam. But, but it sounds very much like what you do is rap. You have poetry based on, put to rhythm. That sounds like what you do.
I know. My brother actually gave me a book for my birthday last year. It was very cool, called When You Don't Call Yourself a Rapper is what it's called. Because, okay, so what Jack is saying is kind of true. I sing on some songs. Most of my songs are spoken word set to music. A lot of people say that rap has to rhyme. But in poetry, the rules of poetry have changed. You don't have to rhyme anymore in poetry, right? You can actually have, there's haikus, there's things, all these other things in poetry. But in spoken word, you can tell a story a certain way, and that becomes a spoken word piece.
Interesting. Now, there's a lot of rappers, at least it seems over the past 10 years, that don't rhyme really that much. So I don't know, are they no longer rap anymore? Are they spoken word? Actually, and maybe this is too early to dovetail in it, but whatever. I'm going to do it anyways. A lot of rappers like Drake, he kind of sings too. He doesn't just say the words anymore. He's, so is this a different genre that we're looking at, that especially now as so many of them add auto-tune and these other things to their voices, it is breaking away from what old Merriam is defining as rap.
They made her old. It's out to date.
Yeah, it could be Miriam's daughter, Miriam II. It might be a young Miriam out there defining this.
Made her old. No, okay. I've had this discussion. So they call my idol, Gil Scott-Heron, who is my idol, the godfather of rap. But he was said as a spoken word artist. This is back in the 70s. I do spoken word set to music. Now, folks, you know who he is. His biggest piece of music was The Revolution Will Be Televised. That was his biggest piece of music.
That's throwback to last week's episode.
Yes, exactly. But they called him the godfather of rap. He didn't rap. Mm-hmm. Now, Jack Farmer brings up a good point. Back in the day, there's a song called West End Girls by Pet Shop Boys. Very cute. But Jack, they talked through most of it.
Yeah. My friend, funny enough, that's my buddy. That's his go-to karaoke song. It's
really all right.
It's always a fantastic train wreck. It's always one of those, karaoke, it's not supposed to be great. And it's that perfect, this is terrible. What are you doing? And he does it on purpose. I think he does it on purpose every time because he can't sing. And so he just...
It's talking.
But you're right. Because he does, East End boys and the West End girl. I guess he sings that part. But yeah, the rest of it is kind of just talking, which... Now that you mention it too, it makes me think how much of the song Christmas Rapping, the Christmas song, is that a rap? I mean, it is called Christmas Rapping, and maybe that's what...
Merry Christmas. And she talks through it. I love that song, by the way, first of all. That's by the Waitresses. Love that song. To me, it's very Christmas to play that song.
Yes.
But she talks, they talk through it.
So it is interesting because you're right. I think going by the definition, that is rap. But I think if you were to go into a conversation, some of my favorite rappers are the Waitresses and the Pet Shop Boys. People look at you like, what are you talking about?
But see, also, Jack, you have people. Oh, what am I stepping on? My life. I hate something in my life. Also, of course, the two biggest songs that came out first were Rapper's Delight, which were by people. They coined the phrase hip hop in the song. Hip-hop, that was their coin before it's that song. Blondie's raps her. Mm-hmm. Just why it's the rap song. She raps in it. Sings the chorus, raps her, but the rest of it's 5-5 Freddy. That's a whole. And she got permission, basically, kind of got an acceptance from that downtown crew in New York. What she did, they did that. But it goes to think about people doing songs. That song by Suzanne Vega, Tom's Diner. Mm-hmm. I was sitting on the corner and everybody caught. She's talking through the song.
Yeah.
Or she's talking through the song. There's no That's the only part that's kind of like a singing part of it. The rest of it, she tells a story about a guy who's in a car and a thing. I mean, it's like she's talking the song, and then they remixed it with that song '90s. That was she's talking.
Right. So what is that difference then that makes a song a rap song or a hip hop song? What's the separation there? Because it's weird how we would all say that's not rap. It's not a hip hop song. It's not rap. But what is that difference? What makes it something different that makes one song a rap song or a hip hop song and one song not a rap song or a hip hop song? Because I think knowing nothing about those, if you were someone who you were cryogenically frozen, in the 40s, and then you were woken up today, and so the entire thing passed, and you played those two songs, like a Pet Shop Boys or the Diner song. What's the name? I can never remember the name of that song. Tom's Diner. Yeah, you play that song, one of those songs, and then you play any hip hop song or rap song, you would say, no, they're not the same. They're different. But when you categorize it, they do check all the same boxes. So what is that difference?
I don't know. You think of Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yeah.
It's mostly talking. It's a conversation. They sing songy a little bit. But it goes to the Drake thing, where Drake sings his songs. Florida, he raps, but there's a lot of song in it.
Right.
Post Malone, there's a lot of song in it. Like, how do you okay, so here we go. I'm gonna do this.
It's fascinating, real quick, just because you mentioned Post Malone. It's very fascinating because I'm a DJ, and so I was actually going through my crates, as we call them. You know that you're a DJ. We call them crates. It's basically nowadays it's on a computer, so it's basically like the folder, the file that you put your music in. But and I was trying to recategorize things and all this other stuff, and I came to Post Malone, and I was like, do I put him in rap? Is he a rapper? Does he? And I was basically having the same conversation in my own head. I mean, I guess I put him there because I would hear him on a rap station, but I don't know if he actually is a rapper though.
Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, it's another one. She can rap though. She has some songs that rap though, doesn't she?
She does. That's the whole point. She came from where she raps.
But she sings too.
Yes, exactly. As I'm saying, it's kind of weird. It goes back to like, what's a boy band? That's that whole thing with Boys to Men. Are they a boy band? Like, it goes back to that weird nebulous part where it's kind of like, well, when you add other stuff to it, then there is rap, there's talking, there's talking in it. But some of these groups, Beastie Boys, later did live instrumentation. They started experimenting with genres, but they basically were rap the whole time. They were rap.
Is there I wonder if there's like a words per minute kind of thing that we look at, like how quickly the words are coming out. And if you're going too slow, because Frank Sinatra borderline just talked through half of his songs as well. So I wonder if you get to a point where even though you may be rhyming, but you're just going slow enough, it no longer counts as rap. Like you've got to get words out quickly, obviously like
because think of like a Linkin Park.
Mm-hmm.
Think about those groups that did rock and rap in there together, or Evanescence, or they added rap stuff into their Limp Bizkit.
Right.
Kid Rock.
There's a weird time, those early 2000s.
Yeah, so, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like they all were doing this stuff that was kind of like they were talking, set to music, and some that were slower than the others. So I don't know if that's it either. I mean, I don't know if that's it. I mean, I don't know.
I think with Linkin Park's a good one because half of their stuff was rapping, but they always get lumped into rock, probably because the beat and the sound was very rock. But to those other things, like to some of those other songs we'd mentioned, the beat doesn't necessarily sound like a band. Tom's Diner, for instance, like I said, if you didn't know, you wouldn't really know anything about like the ethnicity of the person singing it, the beat, like how it's being made, if it's being made band or on a beat machine or whatever. You wouldn't know if you, like I said, were frozen in 1950 and woke up today, but you would still know that it's not the same. It doesn't fit that genre, and that's the weird thing about it. But maybe it's because, that's why I say again, maybe it's because of how quickly she doesn't really go that quick in that song. She's sort of slower, and maybe that's the thing. But Drake raps slow. Like he doesn't.
Right.
He's not putting out tons of words that quickly. So it's weird. It's a weird thing.
And it's funny because back in the late 90s or 2000s, there was this movement for electro clash. It was a big thing in like New York and San Francisco. It was elements of rock mixed with techno, mixed with spoken word. It was all mixed together. And groups like it was Fisher Spooner was one, Scissor Sisters. All these groups they were coming out with stuff where they're junior, senior. They always like they each had like one big hit song that you played in your rotation.
Yeah.
They were kind of talking. But it was set to dance music. So it's kind of like, but they never said they were rappers. They just said they were artists who did this mixture of stuff. I mean, it's like sometimes, and like the shouting, some people just shout things. There's a group called Scooter that I used to like, that was huge in Europe. But he talks and they kind of sing some stuff, but it's mostly talking.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned Junior Senior. One of my favorite songs, "Move Your Feet," by the way.
Yeah.
That's one of those. That's one of my favorite songs you play, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this song! I forgot it exists, but it's so good." Because they do, I guess, rapping in the song, but I would never say to myself, I would never file that into a rap crate or a rap set, because it doesn't go there. But again, to your point, and to Miriam's point, me and Miriam are close. We're on a first name basis now. To Miriam's point, it checks the boxes, at least for big portions of the song. So it's funny going into today. I didn't think we were going to break down what is rap, but it is now that I'm thinking about it. That's what I love about these shows is I always go into it thinking we're going to talk about one thing, and then we go off into this whole other side mission, like trying to figure out what is rap. And it is an interesting thing. I'd love to hear in the comments or in the chat, maybe if you guys have a way that is kind of a rule that separates the two.
So I'm gonna tell you the top 8 best-selling rap artists according to Billboard magazine. I always like to do this because we're always surprised when we do these. Always like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna tell you these are from beginning of rap to now, the top 8 artists who sold them by sales. Sales. At number 8, tied at number 8 with 75 million records, Tupac and the Black Eyed Peas.
Interesting. It's interesting.
Now Black Eyed Peas, they are rap. Fergie also raps and sings. I mean, it's kind of like, they're considered, I guess, a rap group.
It's interesting because before Fergie, they were definitely a rap group.
Yes.
Like just 100%. Fergie, they definitely went pop and dance, and they're still rapping in there. But I think if you think post Fergie, if you're thinking "I Got a Feeling," that's another song you wouldn't file away into a rap set. It's still a banger, by the way. People like to act like they're too good for the Black Eyed Peas. That song's a banger. I don't care what you say.
My humps. I love that song. I'm giving it down. I love it.
I love shamelessly fun songs. I don't just embrace it. Just have fun. But I wonder if that means, are we factoring in those songs like "I Got a Feeling" into rap sales?
They are. No, they are. They're saying that this is a group, so they are. It's the same thing with LMFAO. They had all those songs where they were talking, but they were party songs.
Yes. Those guys, I love how they just came in, like crushed everything for like 2 years, and then just like peace.
They did. They had like 5 hits left. I'm like, oh, okay, we're done.
Right? They just crushed it. I'm like, I'm over it.
But I'm done. Okay, number 7 is Flo Rida, 80 million. Flo Rida, and he does do a lot of. He raps. He's very melodic stuff. I mean, it's all very much Kesha's in the song. They're all these huge songs he does.
Yeah, I think he doesn't get enough credit for his versatility as far as doing different things and having different styles and sounds. And, again, going into the DJ rabbit hole, his beats per minutes in his songs are all over the place. So like a lot of artists, they'll be like, all of their songs are at like 90 beats a minute. And again, I'm going down into the DJ rabbit hole here. You understand, but like like there'll be certain artists, every single song is like the same tempo, same speed, but he has some faster songs. He has slower songs. I mean, he has, like Apple Bottom Jeans Low, which is like 128 beats a minute, but he has Going Down for Real, which is over in like the 80 beats a minute. My House, which I think is like 90. Sorry, again, I'm getting into DJ nerd stuff, but like his stuff is all over the place in a good way. I think he deserves more credit for like not just finding one type of song and sticking with it.
Yeah. I think because he's very popular with the word pop, he doesn't get a lot of credit. I think it's back to that. It's a dirty word. It goes back to that.
He goes, him and I guess the Black Eyed Peas kind of get lumped into the same box for that reason. There's another person. I don't know if he's going to be on the list, so I'll save it. But there's a certain worldwide guy that gets. Oh no,
he's not on here. Pitbull.
Oh, Pitbull. Yeah,
I love Pitbull. He's not here either. Yes.
Yeah, Pitbull's another one of those guys that's super fun. He just makes fun songs, and so some people get turned off by that for some reason. Again, I like fun songs. Yeah, he's great.
I like him too. I know. And he's huge. He's another one who's huge. Okay.
Yeah. But does he rap? That's another question. Does he rap?
He does rap. I think he raps.
Yeah.
He's rapping in Spanish and English.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want me. I know I want you. Okay. Number 6, Nicki Minaj with 85 million.
Good for her.
She just came in. We know she's going to last. It's very cartoonish, but she's lasted. That's time.
I think the fact that she's been around as long as she has, at the level she's been at, is so big. I think I don't know if there's ever been a female rapper that has stayed as relevant as she has for as long as she has.
Salt and Pepper would be close. So speaking of women who last a longer time, but no, there are great rappers who had hits here and there. Queen Latifah later went into TV and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't count. MC Lyte was great for a while. She's done other things too. But in terms of top 10 hits, and it's always being in the news, it's Nicki Minaj.
Because she's at like almost 10 years now, right?
It's over 10 years. Over 10 years now.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be late 2000s.
Yeah, over 10 years.
Yeah.
Number 5, my boy. I don't know why I like him. My brother's like, how do you like him? I like him. Lil Wayne,
yeah. He's grown on me. I'll be honest. When he first came out, I was like, I don't get this guy, but he's grown on me. I get it. I feel like I get it now with him, and he's fun and he's great.
And he did a rock album that didn't work. I liked it. It didn't work.
Yeah, because he was on. I think some of those songs were on like the Madden NFL games and things like that.
I liked it.
Yeah, I love it when artists try something new. I love it when they don't just go, no, this is what I do. It's all I do. I mean, sometimes they try things and I go, okay, go back to where you were. But I think as a creative, it's cool to say, you know what, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to do something different, see how this turns out. And Lil Wayne's someone, like I said, when he first came out, I was like, I don't get it. But now I look back, I'm like, okay, I get it. I like him.
He's been around for a long time. He was young when he came out.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say he's been around a long time. I feel like because he did start young, he's one of those guys like, man, he must be old. He's been around forever. And like, if you Google it, he's probably like 32 or something.
Exactly. I really think he was like 13 or 14 in the 90s because I didn't know it was him. When I got into him, I didn't realize that was him with Birdman, all that stuff. That was all. And he said that was his father and all this whole thing. That he was a kid. He was like 13, 14. He was like little Bow Wow and all them. He was young when he started. But then all of a sudden he kind of became this adult rapper and was big. And so I knew him from that. I go, oh, that was him like 7-8 years ago. I didn't realize it was him. So that was my deal.
I just had to Google. He's 38. So still young. Well, I mean,
still young.
Getting older for rappers, but young for Earth, as I like to say. But you know how things are. Like if you're an NFL player, if you're 28, people are like, ooh, you only got a few years left, kid.
That's very true. That's very true. For a long time. Number 4, Jay-Z. Speaking of somebody my age, he's my age, and I've always been impressed that when he puts out an album, it's still an event. For someone who's been around for so long. I mean, he's from the 90s. I remember in the 90s with Can I Get a Woo and all that stuff. I remember that. And he's still, the songs, and his album with Linkin Park, his album with Kanye West, album with Beyonce, the Carters. I mean, like, he just like, I'm very impressed that he has consistently stayed relevant in the public when he releases music.
And for high quality reasons too. To your point, like when he does stuff, it's an event. And whether or not, I know some people may like certain songs of his or not like certain songs of his, but he doesn't have any albums that come out and you're like, oh, that he phoned that in. It's like everything he does is really well done. I'm actually kind of surprised he's not higher now that I think about it.
We'll see why. You'll see why.
But I'm guessing because I know he also has so many other extracurricular things he does. Like he's a sports agent now, and he's got all these other things going on. He's like an owner in a basketball team and stuff. So I wonder if they're just not counting those things in there. But the fact that he's been able to, really just, he's kind of, I'd imagine for a lot of people, he's got to be kind of a role model in a lot of ways. The fact that he did start from nothing, he started in a bad situation, and now he's like a huge American business person on top of still being who he always was, which is as a rapper. And I mean, I don't really know that much about him personally. I'm not going to pretend I've read his biography or anything, but like, he's kind of crushed it in everything he's done. And I think, and he's done it, like I said, in a good way. It's not like he's in a, it's not like he's running a sports agency, but it's some gross thing ran out of the back of a strip mall. It's like he does things really well. And I think that's cool for him.
I think I look at him, Snoop Dogg. Those are folks who continue to stay relevant. Snoop Dogg in the game longer than him, clearly. Still relevant. I mean, like, still relevant. And occasionally Snoop Dogg put out a song that's a hit. Like It's Hot, it was one huge hit he did, or Sexual Seduction or whatever. Like, he puts out these songs every once in a while that just like, they're huge. They're like, oh my God, where'd that come from? But they still put out music. So I think that I look at those and go, okay, there's Jay-Z is still, he's part of a power couple that helps also. Beyonce, of course, is the biggest star in the world. And so I feel like that's all, that just all works. It works for him. So I look to them and go, okay, that's longevity in a business that was set up for young people.
Yes.
Hip hop was young. It was not meant for, that's the thing.
Well, and it's so easy, I think, for a lot of artists, and we see it happen. We've talked about this kind of thing before too, but especially in rap, where I think so much of it is connecting, as you said, with younger people, usually people who are a little bit more down on their luck. It's not necessarily for people who are, playing golf at country clubs per se. But so for him to grow and become rich and become one of those guys who's doing very well and become the kind of person that probably shouldn't relate to a lot of hip hop, but still be able to make hip hop for and rap for people of any situation is a cool thing, I think.
Yeah. I just support anybody who's my age.
I wonder who the top three are, because he's got to be up there. I've got an idea of who a few could be, but
number 3, like him or not, Kanye.
That makes sense. He was one of the ones I was thinking could be up here.
He's huge. His music sells. It did. It sold. I mean, mouth aside, you have to be quiet. I loved his music. I loved many of his albums. They were sonically, they were different than anything else. He was very creative musically. Songs were super catchy.
Yes.
Like from Flashing Lights to even his little cameo on Katy Perry's E.T. And I mean, like, there are all these great. I mean, he does a lot of. He's very, very interesting the way he writes, what he says, how he rhymes. Very clever. He's good. I mean, he's good. When I heard Black. Oh my God, what's the name of that song?
Black Jesus.
No,
or Black Skinhead. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Yeezus. Yeezus threw me off, and then but Black Skinhead. Yeah.
I heard Black Skinhead. My brother and I both ran to our rooms together. We're like, did you hear? Yeah, I heard the song. It was so good. Like, it was just what he was saying was so good, and it was a different kind of music. Like, his music stands out. Like I say, going from Flashing Lights to that. That's very interesting. Even his little piece on American Boy with Estelle. His little piece on there is cute. It's like even his song Madonna was great. It's a cute little song. Like, there's all these he does these little cameos. He's so creative that I think there's just something interesting. I think he's bipolar, so I think there's something else going on there. But I'm not surprised he's number 3.
Yeah, some of his personal stuff aside, I think musically, his first 3, I hate to be the guy that's just like, I liked old Kanye, but
I know, but his first 3 albums.
His first 3 albums are possibly all 3 in my top 10 favorite albums of all time. I love all 3 of them. And his stuff after that, I think, is really good. And it's funny. I'm going to go go off on a limb here, but he always talked about how he's a genius, and a musical genius in particular. And sometimes, at first I was like, dude, get over yourself. But as time's gone on, I kind of think maybe he's right in a lot of ways, because I think sometimes when he makes music that doesn't work, because I'll be honest, some of his music, I'm like, I don't get it. But then I think maybe it's because it's not for me. I think maybe he's does stuff for a genius. And you're right. The things like the different types of songs he can do, from fun to silly to serious. I think he basically will sing about anything he wants, and he doesn't leave anything off the table, whether you like it or not, which I think you have to appreciate. But you mentioned American Boy. Something that doesn't get enough credit is how clever his lines are in that.
I know.
Because he throws in so many English phrases and things like that make it so good that I don't think it gets credit for just how smart it is that he's able to use, a vernacular from a different area, but still make it completely understandable to American audiences and all this other stuff. It's actually incredibly clever. But you're right. Like he'll sing about anything, and or rap about anything. And I think that whether you like the songs or not, I feel like you got to give a little bit of credit to that as well. And Black Skinhead, by the way, a great workout song. I was working out this morning and it came on. It's got that
I love that song so much. It's hard. It just has a message. But yeah, American Boy is my favorite songs of all time. I just love that song. I think it's a very underrated song. I think it was such a good song. And you're right. The interplay between him and Estelle and the words, it totally worked. I mean, it was very British. It was very British. But even with E.T., with Katy Perry, I love that song. I love his rap in that song. I love it. I mean, I think it's another fun. It was like one of her longest running hits. I mean, with that. And I remember when I hear radio stations take out the rap part, I'm like, put the rap part back in there. That's part of the song. Very clever lyrics there too, about outer space.
Well, that leads me to another side question. I know we got 2 more artists left, and I think I might know who they are, but I'm not 100% sure. I've got 3 names coming to mind, and I'm not sure, but only 2 of them are going to be in there, which makes this interesting.
But side note, yes, I love side notes.
Can you be a fan of a musician's music, but not like the musician?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in the same boat as you, but I know some people
separate.
I learned a long time ago, you got to separate entertainers and performers and writers and things.
You will find something wrong with everyone, basically. You go to, any kind of music. You look at, James Brown beat his wives, Ray Charles beat his wives. Everybody was bad at some point. So it's just kind of go, okay, what they produced was great. I don't support what they did personally. I can Tina Turner. I can still an icon because he helped create rock and roll. He brought us Tina. He beat the shit out of her. Don't like that. Okay, I got it. But even Tina kind of goes, I got my start from Ike. I got it. Sonny Bono was a little controlling over Cher, but Cher credits Sonny for. It's kind of like, it's just. I sound like this old guy. I say it every time. I think an old person. It was a different time. I'm not saying it was right. But I'm just saying it was a different time period, and things were run differently. And men's roles were a little different back then. They got away with a lot more. So. And then I look at Chris Brown. Speaking of this, who sometimes gets lumped into rap, so like he does speak some things out to you. He also does dance music, the whole thing. He beat Rihanna's ass. Don't like that. We don't like that, of course.
Right.
I'm saying he has some great songs.
Yeah.
He was on track to be one of the biggest artists in the world. But he was really, he was great. He could dance, he could sing,
he had everything. Yeah.
He had everything. So
he still does, but
he does. But I don't really follow his stuff anymore now. But I would say that he's somebody that I did like those songs. I know what he did. Michael Jackson, another one. All his allegations were out at the time. I still liked his music, even though we weren't sure what was going on over here. It's just, I can separate for the most part when it comes to music, unless it's something super horrific, I guess. I haven't run across that yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it. I'm canceling them for good. But I can usually separate.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. I think it's different because I've learned once you start going down that rabbit hole, it gets too dangerous. That's why, speaking of Kanye, regardless of what he does out there, I can still take the music and go, this is good music. I like this song or whatever. But same with Chris Brown. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want him to hang out with my loved ones, but if he makes some good music, then cool, I'll
Now,
play it.
my choice. Here's my one difference, though. I will add this caveat, as they say, using big words today.
Mm-hmm.
My caveat is, I may not go see them in concert and support them that way. I don't know. I mean, it's critical. Maybe that's, I don't know. Who knows? But I won't go see them in concert. But I may like a song of theirs here and there and say, "Oh, I like that song," but I may not go and actually further support their career. I mean, I know maybe this weird. I don't know. But I may not. It depends. But I haven't come across anything yet that was like.
It makes so much sense to me. I have a similar rule, but it's for sports, and I'm a big Seattle Seahawks fan. My rule is if they don't win at least half their games, I won't buy any of their merch for a year. I'll still support them. I'll still watch the games and stuff. But if you want me to spend money on your merch, you got to keep your wins up. That's my way of letting them know, like, hey, I don't accept. Yeah. I'm not going to follow you and support you if you guys are going to lose games. So I guess similar, like kind of the same thing, right?
I don't know if it's the same thing, but okay, sure. You're working for Jack Farmer Seahawks. You hear that? You're working for him.
Exactly. That's what you're doing it for.
I'm a Steelers fan. I understand that. I get mad at Ben all the time. I've met Ben before, actually, and I'm like, "Come on, do something." He's like 10 feet tall. I'm like, "You got to get back in there and do something."
Right. It's always funny meeting athletes in person because they're always way bigger than you expected them to be.
They're huge. I was at a Wendy's, folks, in the north side of Pittsburgh, and Heinz Field is like right down the street. So I guess they all decided to go to Wendy's, and I'm standing there waiting for my food. I was like, "Oh, he's giant." I mean. So it makes me just go, okay, football, I see why it's the shortest season of all the sports. Why they all have concussions. They all beat their wives when they're 50. I totally get it. I mean, to be hit by, this little side tangent, whatever. To be hit by 300-pound linebackers every day for like 10 and 20 years, I'd beat you too, Jack. I'm sure I'd be beating you and calling you names too, I'm sure.
I always feel like you're going to do that at the end of this show every week, let alone but I went to I got to go to the ESPYs, which is like the Grammys of sports, and I always say, like, every guy has this part of themselves. It's like, if I played sports my whole, like, if I really tried, I bet I could have been a professional athlete. And then you see the size of some of these football players, and you're like, hell no, I couldn't have pushed past these guys. No way. No, it doesn't matter. Never would have happened. Even
baseball too. There's some big guys in baseball. I was like, they're that tall and that big. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you see them on TV around other people that big, so they look normal. But it's like, when you're around them, geez.
Yeah. I played football in high school, and that was it. I was like, I'm done. Don't worry about that. I want to keep my brains. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, which I'm not surprised number 2, but I thought he might be number 1. Maybe number 1. I get why he's number 1. Drake's number 2.
Drake's one of the people I assumed would be up this high. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it is a weird thing though when you're. I don't know how they did this, but I wonder how much of it is also. What's the phrase where you scale it for inflation?
I'll tell you what it is. Okay, so scale for inflation. Yeah, it's inflation. It is all strictly sales.
Okay.
So from physical copies to digital and streaming, they're adding all that together now, and that's what they're going. And so yes, they do also add for inflation. They're saying it plays into everything. That's why they're saying it's how they're the biggest selling.
Because it's I mean, obviously he's another guy who's been around for so long too. I think I even said on Twitter, like, at what point do we start calling him one of the best of all time, just because of how long he's been around and how many songs he has? And I mean, of all my favorite rappers, I don't know how high I'd put him on my personal favorites, just to be totally honest. But at what point is just the raw numbers, like, how do you deny him as being one of the best when he's done it for so long, so many songs? I feel like more and more rappers and artists are trying to be more like him because he's been so successful. I feel like if you want to make a new star, just have Drake be on one of their songs. He's such a he's such a force right now, love him or hate him. But he's got to be up there because he's got a million #1 hits, I think.
Yeah, he does. So here's my controversial take on Drake. I remember him on Degrassi when he was little Jimmy. I remember him on Jimmy, and I remember the whole thing. He got shot and he got paralyzed. I remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's weird for me to see him. I was like, that's the same guy from Degrassi. I'm like, it was crazy.
Right.
I like some of his songs. I have to say, because some of his songs are super catchy.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like some of them. There's one song he did with Michael Jackson's unused vocal, where it don't matter to me. I love that song.
Yeah.
I love a few ones. There's a few songs I liked of his. I bounced a few times over his songs.
Yeah.
I think though his voice is the same in every song. So I have a problem with that a little bit. And that's a problem that all of us who do, whether it's rap or spoken word, how do we not just sound the same all the time? For many people, it is actually doing different types of music, adding different vocals, that kind of stuff. That's just an eternal thing for us. Because when you sing, it's a little different. When you're talking, it's the same. I feel like a lot of his stuff sounds the same to me. Like Post Malone, kind of sound the same to me. That's my kind of criticism of Drake. But in terms of, I can't deny how huge he is and how each album, he dropped surprise albums. That Scorpion album was a surprise.
Yeah.
It's the one. I mean, like people love his stuff. They just love it. And I get it. It's catchy. It's totally catchy. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, that song's okay, I guess. That's fine. But I do like a few of his songs. So I give him his props. I don't know if he's one of the best of all time, but I give him his props.
I was having a conversation via Twitter about this, and the thing about him, in my opinion, as a DJ who plays music and sees people react to hearing a song come on, what I've found with him, though, like my biggest critique with him is he's very disposable. Every song he has is disposable. Once it's been out for a minute, people throw it away and they don't want to hear it again. I was saying if I went to an event tomorrow and DJ'd in front of a bunch of people and I played Kiki, Do You Love Me? People would be kind of like, oh, you're playing this one? You know?
Is that weird? Right. Is that
like
weird?
This one came out a few years ago. What are you doing? But if I played, my go-to example is always Uptown Funk. If I play Uptown Funk, people will rave. They'll dance. But yeah, this is great. Uptown Funk. I love this song. The fact that we can reference, I Got a Feeling, which is now almost 10 years old. And if you play it, like, whether people like it or not, they'll go, okay, I get it. If I play Hotel Service by Pitbull, people are going to love it. If I play California Love, people will love it. But if I play Passion Fruit from Drake, I'm sure
I like that song.
I like it too. But I bet there's a lot of people who listen right now going, which one was Passion Fruit?
That's a good point. Jack, is actually a really good point.
In 20 years, do you think I can't imagine anyone in 10 years, 20 years going, hey man, let's go dust off the Scorpion album.
You're right. That's so true.
Like I can't, like I said, so I call it disposable. Like you're supposed to enjoy it for a week or two, and then you just kind of crumple it up and throw it away and you never look at it again. As opposed to a lot of other artists that make songs that you go, oh yeah, remember this one? This was so good, and you re-enjoy it. But I don't know if Drake has that. It's funny.
I never thought of it before. That's true. Like you think of, I think of like Run DMC. We go back in time. There's so you play Walk This Way. Everyone loves it. They have other songs. Nobody wants to hear those songs. They're just kind of like they're made for the time. They're done. Salt and Pepper's Push It, always. Dance for. They have a bunch of other songs. People are like, maybe When a Man, maybe another one they could do. Unless about sex to work. But for the most part, other songs are, again, they're just for that time period. They're done. Your Drake, I can't even think of a song that people would from 20 years now go, that's the jam. Like that's the standard. Like that's not. You're right.
And again, some of those artists, when you think about it though, in comparison to how long some of their, when I say their career, I mean, I know they're around longer than how long they're on top, but when you think about just how long they were on top, they weren't on top for whatever 13 years or 14 years that Drake has been on. Like what artists, like I look at Justin Timberlake and I can play a number of songs from him that'll still work. And people won't go, oh, this one, if I played Sexy Back, it's totally dated, but at least people would go, oh yeah, Sexy Back. This is funny. Right. If I play Suit and Tie, they're like, oh, this is cool. Or Yeah, it goes around, comes around, or I was gonna say "Rock Your Body." That's a Michael Jackson song, though. Isn't it?
Jackson. You're thinking of oh
Don't
my
be so quick to walk away.
yeah. My God, beginning of a song or "Cry Me a River."
Yeah, like he has a ton of songs that you could dust off and look back on, but am I going to listen to "In My Feelings" again? I don't know. Am I going to listen to when was the last time anyone listened to "God's Plan"?
Right.
Like, and me bringing it up, does that make anyone go, "Oh, I haven't heard that song in years. Let me go listen to God's Plan"? No, you're like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that one."
I agree with you.
So this turned into the Drake diss show.
Yeah, I know. We don't mean shit at all. No, I was like, yeah, that's how big he is. I like some of his songs. You named pastors who like the song. Don't matter to me. God's Plan's a good song. There's some good songs. I'm just like saying that. I'm just not. I don't know if it's one of the greatest, but he's just somebody that sells well. Okay, number one with 220 million albums in sales, 10 number one albums. And he's been around for 20 years, a little over 20 years.
Eminem, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm surprised he's number one, but yeah, I mean he's so good. He's such a good rapper.
To me, he's one of the best rappers in the game. I don't care if he's white, black, whatever. He's one of the best rappers in the game. I think he gets that title. I think people agree. Again, he put out that surprise album a couple years ago, Kamikaze, and that was huge. And I liked the songs off. I thought it was really good. And Adam Woods. Drake will always be Jimmy Brooks from Degrassi. Yes, I mentioned that earlier too. Yes, he was but Eminem really does he put out another album this year too. He puts out albums. He's my age. Again, it was my age, and he's putting out stuff. The challenge for him was he came out goofy, silly, and angry. That was his whole shtick. So they were like, once you start making more money, can you keep that going? I feel like that he has a few missteps in his career, but I feel like he has come back. And I think he's just one of the best rappers. He's all these, they call him ciphers, folks out there where you just kind of rap off the cuff. And he's good. He blows you away. He had a whole thing with Machine Gun Kelly, I think a year ago, where he was going back and forth. He won. I mean, Eminem won.
Yeah, you can't beat Eminem in a diss battle. Come on, no one can. I mean, it was I think Nick Cannon recently tried to call him out, and Eminem was just like, "Nah, I'm not even going to waste my time with this one." My example of why, like, I think he's the best rapper going. I think it's a little haphazard to say the best of all time, but I think when you look at, like, my favorite example is if you look at the song Forever it has Drake, it has Kanye, it has Lil Wayne, and it has Eminem on it. I think there's one other person on there that I'm missing, but maybe not. But in any case, if you haven't heard, you should listen to it. All four of them are on there, and they all take turns rapping, and Eminem goes at the end and he just destroys everybody. Because I like it because you hear all of them together in one song, and when you hear just how fast he's rapping, how it still is clear and understandable, how it's still like telling you something. It's like not just like so many people when they rap, it's like you say a sentence and then another sentence and the two words at the end rhyme, and that's all they're doing, like a lot of songs. But he'll have like words rhyming in the middle of sentences and like in bars and things like that, and it's just so well put together. He's someone that I think every time he raps, he wants to remind people that he's at least one of the best. And in fact, I think he has a line in one of his songs, platinum status is whack if I'm not the baddest. And I love that line. It's such a cool, like, it doesn't matter what the awards are. It doesn't matter what people say. If I'm not actually the baddest, then I don't care. And I think he approaches it with that mentality whenever he's on a song. And I think that's why he does so well. But yeah, God, you say he's been around for 20 years. That hurt a little bit, I'll be honest, because I remember him coming out, and now I'm feeling old.
You should. Mark Mathers EP, that LP came out in 1999. I mean, we're talking just like 20 years ago. So I mean, it's like and 2000 when he was huge. I mean, it was like Slim Shady. That was 2000, 2001. That's 20 years ago, kids. He's been around for a long time, and he came out, and he could have been really gimmicky. I think it's something he could have borderline on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I've really had these huge conversations back and forth about how controversial he was back then. I always supported him. I always, He said a few things here and there in his songs, but I felt like it was artistic expression and he had a message to give. And it was just like, it was his point of view of stuff. And he was very raw. And I mean, I still Clean Up My Closet still floors me. That song, the things he says about his mother, I was like, oh my God. It's so honest. It's honest and it's like no holds bar, but in a song that actually it works. I mean, like you're like, what? And it's Stan, of course. I mean, classic. Yeah. That song about a fan, and I've had stalkers and things. I've been through stuff like that, so I know that relationship between us and the audience can get blurred, and it's such a sad song. Like I was like, wow, that came out of him. Like it wasn't. So he's not just a gimmick. He's been around for a long time, and he really can rap. 8 Mile was a great. I love 8 Mile. I think he was great in that. Lose Yourself, great song. I mean, an Oscar-winning song. He's Oscar winner Eminem of all things. It's amazing.
It's interesting too for how angry he is and aggressive he can be. How vulnerable he basically presents himself, and how I think a lot of these things, like a Stan, I can't imagine, if you go back to someone like a Tupac, would just be like, yeah, if someone gets in my way, or like, I don't care, I'll blast them or whatever they say,
I don't know what the kids say. I don't know.
But they're not going to say like you. I couldn't imagine a lot of these artists saying, man, this person was obsessed with me and they killed themselves in a serious kind of sad way, especially back then. I mean, now there's a lot more. There's a lot more, awareness to that kind of stuff. But back then, to say that kind of stuff, to say like, yeah, I had a terrible mom, things like that that's a very vulnerable thing to do. And the fact that he does these things and Lose Yourself is him like, I'm throwing up. I'm so nervous. I only have one chance. Like those are all very vulnerable things. I think a lot of other artists would never admit, 50 Cent wouldn't admit being nervous before going out and performing. And I think just from the level of stuff he's done is incredible.
Yeah. I met with 50 Cent and he's actually a nice guy. Very nice guy.
I've heard that.
Curtis. He's very nice. Very nice. Yeah. But no, I agree with you. And as a musician myself, deciding what to reveal to the world is always a daunting task. And like I said, I did a song revealing my father leaving us at 10 years old. And it was a tough one for me to put together. And luckily my producer got it out of me and we'll be releasing it this year. But it's like, but for Eminem, that's what I'm saying. He's putting out his feelings all on the table. Here it is, kids. Do what you want with it. And I just think that's why he's number one, I think, in the best selling. We're saying best selling by Billboard magazine. I'm saying best rappers of all time. He's totally one of the top 3, I think, of all time.
Yeah.
But I think for that, he deserves where he's at. I think he deserves where he's at in his stature in terms of rap. And on that note, we have to end the show. On that note, and it went by that fast. The hour went by that fast.
Yeah.
I can't believe it went by that fast. But like I said, we'll have more discussions on this at some point. This is just one of. It's a huge, huge field that we can't even begin to like uncover in just 50 minutes or so. But go out there, listen to some of the people we're talking about. If you're thinking, I haven't heard that person before, I haven't heard that in a while. Listen to it. Tell us what you think. You're in the comments. In the comments, you're listening to it, watching this now, later. You're in some comments. Come on, do that and tell us what you think. You think we said something was crappy? Tell us we were crappy. Tell us you agree with that. I'm all for it. I don't care. Tell me. Tell us.
And going back to the Eminem thing, if you haven't heard the song Forever with him, Drake, and Lil Wayne and Kanye, give it a listen and just hear how fast and how well he does on that track.
Yes. Jack Farmer, somebody can find you.
At Real Jack Farmer across all social media, and as well as Draped in Gold and Everything Tournament on Thursdays, Elite of the Week on Wednesdays, and United Wrestling Network. I do a lot of wrestling stuff every Sunday. You can check us out on KDOC or on Fight TV.
I was going to try to watch you. The daylight savings time thing happened. I just fell asleep.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm going to try to watch you one day. I'm going to cheer you on.
You should. I had a pretty fun, little fun segment this week where me and a group of bad fellas called the Bodega hung out for a little bit. It was fun times.
Oh, fun. I like that. It's fun. Follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. Sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms and on TikTok, bitches. That's right. Follow me on TikTok. I got all kind of goodness on there. I'm doing my Star Wars stuff again. So check out, especially my 3 reasons why I love Lando Calrissian. Go check that out if you're a Star Wars fan. And of course, this is on my network.
Only 3. Lando's
It's only a minute. TikTok.
Okay. You probably could have taken that up to like 15. Lando's amazing.
I know. I wind up the capes and everything.
Yeah.
And you can follow us on JLJ Media. That's my network, people. I'm the JLJ of JLJ Media. So go ahead and follow, subscribe, like, comment, share. Be kind, rewind. That's right, kids. An old term from the tape days. I actually have a cassette tape right here from 1985.
You don't have to rewind those. You just flip them over and the goodness continues.
It continues. And it's Memorex. Remember Memorex? Is it live or is it Memorex? That was the whole line there, kids.
Yes.
I'm old. You guys, please listen to music. Support the arts. We'll see.